Imagine doing something thinking the whole time you are doing it the right way and that it is going to help you long term. But in the end, what ends up happening is it is not helping you, and actually you were doing it all the wrong way. Now, that is what's going to happen with a ton of people when it comes to the backdoor Roth IRA, unfortunately. I've seen this multiple times as an advisor, and I want to be able to share these details with you to make sure that you are doing it the right way. If you don't know me, I'm Eric Powell with the Future Mill. I want to first go into how you qualify for the backdoor Roth IRA, what it is. Then I will go over the basic steps on how it works. Then I will get into the nitty-gritty details of two things that most people aren't talking about. And if you do not do these the correct way, you are going to be paying a lot of tax later on in life. So first, let's talk about how you qualify for the backdoor Roth IRA. It's actually pretty simple. All you need to know is that if your modified adjusted gross income is over $208,000, if you were married filing jointly, then there's a good possibility that you need to do the backdoor Roth IRA. And if you are single and your modified adjusted gross income is $140,000 or more, then you probably need to do the backdoor Roth IRA. So when I say the backdoor Roth IRA, I know there's these drinking games, and it's like, how many times is he going to say backdoor Roth IRA? Maybe you should start that drinking game right now. But in all seriousness, the backdoor Roth IRA is not something that is a legal term. All this is basically, I will give it the street name for a Roth conversion for high income earners. That's it. That is what the backdoor Roth IRA is. So it's not this drastic, crazy secret when it comes to everything. If you go to the IRS website, you can look up Roth conversions and you will be able to figure that out there. So now let me tell you the basics. It's not hard whatsoever. What you are going to do is open up a traditional IRA and you are going to make a non-taxable contribution up to $6,000 for the 2021 year. If you are age 50 or older, you can do up to $7,000. Once you have this traditional IRA opened, you've made the contribution, you're going to open a Roth IRA. Then once the Roth IRA is open, you can convert that money from the traditional IRA over to the Roth. It's a pretty simple process. I recommend you use a large brokerage firm such as TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, one of those, because they have contact centers where you can actually call and get help for this if you're doing it yourself. If you're using a financial advisor or if you want to use us, reach out. We'll be able to help you with that. As I said, it's a pretty simple process. It's not something that takes a rocket scientist to do. But here are the two things that do get quite messy if you do not do them the correct way. If you have a traditional IRA that you already have opened up, or a SEP IRA or a simple IRA, and you have pre-tax money that is in this account, then when you go to do the backdoor Roth IRA, it's going to create a disaster. So what's going to happen is you're going to fall in an aggregate rule that the IRS talks about, and you're going to have to use what is called a pro rata calculation. Now, how this is all going to work, I want to break down and actually give you an example, and I want to use it as if you yourself had a traditional IRA and you wanted to do the backdoor Roth IRA as well. So let's say that you contributed the $6,000 non-deductible money to your traditional IRA that you wanted to convert, but you also had $20,000 of non-deductible money that you had put in your traditional from many years in the past, and then you also had done a rollover 401k. You put that into your traditional IRA, so that's pre-tax money. Now you have $20,000 because remember that was non-deductible. You added $6,000, so you have $26,000 that is non-deductible contributions, and then you have $80,000 that is all pre-tax money that was from a rollover from a 401k. So your total balance in this traditional IRA is now $106,000. Once you have this amount, you need to know what the non-deductible amount is, which is $26,000. What you're going to need to do is you're going to take the $26,000, you're going to divide that by the entire amount, which is $106,000, and it's going to give you the percentage, which in this case is 24.53%. That 24.53% needs to be multiplied by the non-deductible amount that you were looking to convert. So since you put the $6,000 in that you wanted to convert, you times that by 24.53%, you're going to get $1,472. That $1,472 is going to be just as it would if you would have done a Roth conversion in general, but the remaining $4,528 is actually still going to be considered taxable income when you go to take it out of the Roth in retirement. This is what catches everybody. Nobody realizes that if you have pre-tax money and non-deductible money and all of these other things in a traditional IRA, it is going to catch you when you go to do the Roth conversion. Now, the trick to get around all of this is going to be to slowly convert all of your traditional money over time to Roth money. So then you've emptied out the traditional IRA account and you only have Roth money. That will allow you to pay the taxes on any money that you haven't paid taxes on as of yet, convert it to the Roth, and then you will actually have the Roth that you can live on. Now, you want to be careful with this because there are people who try to trick the system, and I've heard all kinds of different things, but the reality is that if you have a SEP IRA, a simple IRA, or a traditional, or if you have 10 of these accounts, it's all of these accounts combined. Some people think that they can open up a traditional IRA that has non-deductible money and leave all of their other money in a traditional IRA that has all of the pre-tax money. This is not the case. Even though you may have 10 traditional IRA accounts that are all separate, they think that it is all combined. They're going to look at the total number in all of those traditional IRAs. Now, as an added bonus, this isn't what I want to also stress to you that you better get right when it comes to the backdoor Roth. This is just something else that comes up. When you start converting money, there is the 5-year rule that you have to be cautious of. Now, that goes into a bit more detail. I made a video about this and I put the link in the description below. So if you want to check out that video, you can. Now, if your brain isn't totally overloaded already, going through the pro rata rule, I have one more. This is probably the most important thing, and everybody is telling you to do it wrong. They are saying you should open a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA immediately, take the contribution from the traditional IRA and put it in the Roth IRA. That's wrong. It's not the way it should be done. There is something the IRS has put out called the step transaction doctrine. This is a crazy legal term that they put out. I don't know exactly how to define it legally, but here's what the basics are with that. What they are saying with the step transaction doctrine is that they made a rule saying that high income earners cannot contribute to a Roth IRA. And if you violate that rule, then you could be audited. You could pay a significant amount. I believe it is 6% per year that your money is in the Roth IRA. And so that's a big penalty if you add it up and you've been in that Roth IRA for 10 years. So the way to avoid doing this is by letting the money sit in the traditional IRA for a period of time so that it doesn't look like you're just trying to cheat the system and jump straight into a Roth IRA. A lot of people are saying leave it for at least 12 months. Michael Kitzes, who is a big-time financial planner and blogger, he's a genius when it comes to this stuff. And that is what he is saying is leave the money at least 12 months and in the following year, convert it. Now, during that time, you can invest the money so it grows in the traditional IRA. Just know that when you do the Roth conversion, you're going to have to pay tax on any of that growth, though there's not going to be a 10% penalty because you are taking it from the traditional to the Roth. That is the biggest thing that you have to be careful with, because if you don't do it right and you jump straight from the traditional IRA to the Roth and you get audited, you're in serious trouble. I just want to make sure that you avoid that. So I tried to make this video as quick as possible, as simple as possible. There is a lot to it and it gets confusing. Please hit the like button if you found value with it though. And if you have any questions, I'm here for you. Go to thefuturemill.com. You can book a call with us, or if you want to get started with one of our memberships, that's great as well. But thank you so much for watching.